Well, it's Florida week, so wanted to catch back up with my good buddy Boogie Bentley over at the Talkin VAWLS podcast. Wanted to catch up with you and do another little crossover, man. It's a huge week, dude. I know a lot of my viewers and your viewers and pretty much the entire fan base has just kind of been waiting on this the entire off season, and it's finally here. And Tennessee's 3-0.
Yeah, huge opportunity coming up on Saturday. You know, we talk about, fans always want to talk about, is Tennessee back? When are they going to be back? It's kind of been like this endless cycle, coaching carousel, but it feels like this is a huge opportunity for Josh Heupel to continue that momentum. What he's done in just such a short time has been huge, but Saturday is a big opportunity for this football program.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I say it. I think I've said this like already 17 times, and it's only at the time of this recording Monday morning. But literally, it's the stage is set. You've got sold out Neyland. You got Tennessee that's 3-0. You got Tennessee number 11 in the AP. You got Checker Neyland. All right, you got CBS 3:30 time slot. College game days on campus. I mean, what more could be added to this? One of my friends got mad at me. They said you didn't mention Barstool. Apparently, Barstool is going to be doing a show from campus as well. I mean, how many times has it been like this for Tennessee, and then Tennessee's dropped the ball? But I really do feel like, just like you and I both have been talking about all offseason, I feel nothing's changed. I think Tennessee can win this football game. What I've seen from the Vols, what I've seen from Florida, I think Tennessee can win this football game.
Yeah, as fans, it's battered Vol syndrome, right? Like, you look at it on paper, you look at the ESPN FPI, it's got Tennessee like 87% chance. Tennessee, as of right now, I think they're favored by 9.5. Like you said, the stage is set. Just go take care of business. And I think you just mentioned it now, you said it, I think, in the game day thread for the Akron game on VolQuest. Tennessee starts 3-0 for the first time since 2016. But let's get a little crazy. 3-0 first time since 2016. What also happened in 2016? Tennessee went and beat the Gators inside of Neyland Stadium. Checker Neyland. Let's go ahead and break out the Smoky Grace. Let's repeat history, but I'm going to take it a step further. At the end of that sentence on the game day thread, you said Tennessee began that season at 5-0. So let's go ahead and add LSU on the road, and let's go ahead and head in to Alabama undefeated. Let's do it. Let's just get crazy. That's what we do as fans.
Be good for business, man. Hey, I'd be down for that. I think that'd be awesome. One game at a time, of course, and Josh Heupel would get mad if he knew you were talking about 3 games in the future. One thing that is obviously of a storyline this week is the injury situation. Cedric Tillman, Jabari Small, Dylan Sampson. No update at the time of this recording, of course, and as the week goes on, we won't get a public update from Josh Heupel, but maybe we'll get some news and all that type of stuff. But, Boogie, if Tennessee doesn't have Cedric Tillman, I feel like Tennessee's in a world of trouble. It doesn't mean Tennessee can't win, but Tennessee needs Cedric Tillman to play in this football game.
Yeah, Cedric Tillman's huge, obviously, and Brew McCoy, I think, has the potential, and he didn't have a huge game on Saturday. Of course, the touchdown gets called back for pass interference. That's a little ticky-tack. I'm way more concerned about the running back position with Jabari Small and Dylan Sampson both, which, as soon as Jabari Small got hit and he starts grabbing the shoulder immediately, you flashback, triggered from last year, the shoulder injury, battled it all year. The running back is where I'm concerned. When you got 4 scholarship running backs, we talked the offseason narrative. Tennessee needs to add depth at running back. They looked in the portal. Lynn J. Dixon, I think he was at Tennessee probably less time than I'm going to be on the show today. But you got 4 scholarship running backs, and if Jabari Small and Dylan Sampson are both down, you're asking a lot. I like Jalen Wright. I think he's looked good. I think you mentioned on your show Monday, you talked about how many carries he had in that Akron game. You don't want to see that, but it's a lot to ask for Justin Williams-Thomas to step up as a true freshman in the Florida game when you're talking about the stage being set and the atmosphere and the energy college game day. That is a lot for a freshman to take on against Florida.
Yeah, I thought Justin Williams-Thomas looked a little bit better in the fourth quarter, but he's just not ready. Dylan Sampson continues to look good. Hopefully he'll come back. It's an ankle thing for Cedric. It's an ankle thing for Dylan Sampson. Looked like a shoulder, maybe a stinger, but again, Jabari Small was kind of grabbing that shoulder second play of the game. So we'll see what happens. Jalen Wright, he's looked good. He's ran the ball hard. I've really liked what I've seen from him, just holding on to the football. But again, that's why they took a flyer on Lynn J. Dixon. He was so bad, but they just said, I understand it's not an ideal situation, but we need another body. And that's why they took a flyer on him. And that's ultimately didn't work out. And you're down to at ending that football game the other night with 2 scholarship running backs. So hopefully they'll get some guys back. We'll have to see. What have you thought about Tennessee so far this year? I mean, 2-0, 2 wins against, MAC opponents where they just beat the door down. It is what it is. Nice little overtime win on the road at Pittsburgh. I thought Tennessee showed a lot in that football game. They showed a way to win it the way they hadn't won football games in recent memory. But 3-0, and there's been a lot of points, and there's been a lot of getting after the quarterback. What have you thought so far from Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you dumb it down and you just look at the grand scheme of things, wins and losses, you're 3-0. You're going into a huge game against Florida on Saturday, but Tennessee averaging 52 points a game, 4th in the country in scoring offense. Defensively, only giving up 14.3, 27th. Nationally in scoring defense. And yeah, you talk about the schedule. You took care of business against Ball State. You took care of business against Akron. That Pitt game was big because Tennessee tried every way possible to give that game away. But you said, they found a way to come out with the win, and that's all that matters. Get that win on the road. You're favored by a touchdown. You win by a touchdown in overtime. They're just taking care of business. There are some things that excite me, and one of those is Jalen Hyatt, just because I love the story. I love the story, the offseason stuff, going to Velus Jones saying, I'm not taking care of business. I'm not doing things the right way. And I've talked a lot about it on the Talkin VAWLS Network, that it takes a man to admit, I wasn't doing things the right way. But you can take it a step further. Now you got to prove it. You can talk about it all day long. You can talk about it all offseason. You can talk about it all fall camp. But now we're seeing him go out and do it on the field. Had a big day against Pitt. What do you have, 11 catches? And you follow that up with Akron, and it was a different Jalen Hyatt. That Pitt game, 11 catches, and it was kind of dink and dunk, short little checkdowns, and then he showed off the speed against Akron. I love the slant where you talk about SEC speed. You saw the difference between SEC speed and Akron speed. He just took it to the house. Another thing I like is the defense and just the aggressiveness. All the conversation coming out of that Ball State game, we didn't get home. We didn't get the quarterback down, and that was a concern. We're going to analyze. We're going to break things down and nitpick. That's what we do when you're trying to put out content. But we saw an aggressive defense against Pitt. You got Slovis to the ground. You hit him all day long. You put him out. Then you beat up the backup. They did the same thing against Akron. That kid, I think you called him, what you call him this morning on your show? You insulted. That kid has talent, but what a jerk. What a jerk.
I tried to stay away from calling him a punk. I didn't want to call him a punk, but when I was watching it live, and then when going back in the rewatch, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, what a punk. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? You're getting destroyed, and then the stuff after the game. But kid has talent. He's a good player. Tennessee got after him, hit him. I'm excited. I don't know if the back end can hold up. I don't know if the secondary can hold up. But I like just the aggressive. Let's just get aggressive and trust that if we give up a big play, that Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, this offense is going to respond. I think that is the identity of this football team moving forward.
And again, I think it's so unique, and it's a little bit of a trend right now. Hopefully it stops. But Hooker started these games off not throwing the football well. But then by game's end, you look back and it's like, God, what a game. SEC Player of the Week, 18 of 14 or 14 of 18 for 298 and 2 touchdowns, have a game, but it's like, but the first quarter wasn't good. Hopefully he kind of rectifies some of that and moves in the right direction, because with a team like Florida, you don't want to get behind early because of a start like that. All right, last thing, Florida 1-2 on the season, big time win against Utah to start off the season. Fell against Kentucky, or 2-1, excuse me, escaped against South Florida, but didn't look good. Looks like you can run the football on them. Can't throw the football if you're Anthony Richardson. I don't think he's 100%, but still, what have you seen in Florida so far this year, and why do you like Tennessee?
The blueprint's out there, right? I mean, the talking point all week long is going to be force Richardson to beat you with his arm. That's what everybody on talk radio, on YouTube, on VolQuest, everybody's going to be talking about it. That's everybody knows that's the game plan. Now, listening to VolQuest, the Rocky Top Rewind last night, you guys talking to the Florida beat writer, it was interesting to hear him talk about Richardson and being beat up and not having that confidence to run the football. And if that's the case, I really like Tennessee's chances. Can you name me in the history of college football that an SEC quarterback 3 weeks into the season has more tackles than he has touchdown passes? Like, is that even a thing? Like, I like Tennessee's chances in this game. Now, Florida does have some talent, man. At the running back position, Johnson averaging almost 10 yards a carry, and that's not just a couple of plays. You're talking about 25 carries on the season, averaging 9.6 yards a carry. ATN, I think he's a good running back. They've got some talent. But I just like Tennessee's odds in this game. I think Richardson's going to continue to make mistakes. I like Tennessee. You know, Rodney Garner talked a lot about this a few weeks ago, staying in your rushing lanes, keeping quarterbacks bottled up and not letting them escape. And I thought they did that a little bit against Akron. That's a mobile quarterback. Of course, he was beat up too. We'll see if they're able to do it on Saturday. Everybody knows that's a talking point. That's the key to getting out of Neyland Stadium with a victory.
Well, man, I feel like it's weird because Pittsburgh was a very important game, and Pittsburgh was good, and you know that trip to Pittsburgh was fun. But like, I feel like football season's starting now, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, you got Florida, you got Tennessee sold out. I mean, again, I feel like it's now. So obviously you're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Everybody watching, looking forward to it and listen to it. Hey man, you're live a couple times a week. You know, what days do you go live? Where can people find, if they're unfamiliar with the Talkin VAWLS Network, where can they find your work and your guys' work?
We're all over YouTube. That's where everything's at. You know, it started as a podcast, so some people call it a podcast. Guys on our show call it a podcast. It's the Talkin VAWLS Network on YouTube. We're knocking on the door of 15,000 subscribers. Make it happen. Let's get it done by the Florida game, by Saturday. Let's get 15,000 subscribers in there. We are live after every game within a matter of moments, and it's chaos because our selling point is for the fans, by the fans. We're not media. We're not experts. We are just like you guys. You guys, for the fans, by the fans is our motto. It's chaotic. It's emotional. We yell and scream. We disagree. That's what it is. It's a lot of fun. Also, go live on Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I play NCAA football, but it's just a laid-back conversation. We talk Tennessee football the entire night. We go live Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, late night Talkin VAWLS. It's a fan call-in show. You guys get to come on and run the show. It's a good time. We give you a voice. We make it your platform. And then every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time is our regular Talkin VAWLS live show. So a lot of content, a lot of videos. But for the fans, by the fans, that's what we're all about over at the Talkin VAWLS Network.
Hey, and let's return the favor. Now, I got a major push from the Talkin VAWLS crew, you know, whenever I was saying, hey, let's get to 3K, let's get to 3K. I'm not expecting you to get as big of a push, but if you're listening, if you're watching, you're unfamiliar with the Talkin VAWLS Network, go find them on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, help them out. They do awesome work, as you pointed out. They're live a couple times a week, and so let's help them out. Let's do that. Let's help them get to 15K. Boogie, appreciate it, man. He's at Boogie Bentley on Twitter. Give him a follow. Let's do it again soon. Maybe next week or maybe Alabama week. Let's touch base Alabama week. All right.
Sounds good to me, man. Let's do it. The more crossover, the better. Let's keep growing each other's platforms.
Yes, sir.